Thugs attacked a female cop behind the gas station. Then the Hells Angels did the unthinkable. It was supposed to be a quiet night shift. Officer Rachel Miles had pulled into a small gas station on the outskirts of town, just to grab a coffee and check her reports. But as soon as she stepped outside, the world turned dark. 3 men in leather jackets cornered her behind the pumps, their eyes filled with hatred for cops. They thought she was alone, outnumbered, and defenseless. What they didn't know was that she had friends, brothers in leather watching from the shadows. The Hells Angels, men she'd once helped out of a jam, hadn't forgotten her kindness. And that night, when the screams echoed through the still air, those rumbling engines grew louder. What happened next wasn't just payback, it was justice roaring onto wheels. Officer Rachel Miles was known in the precinct for her calm under pressure. She wasn't just a cop. She was a protector, someone who believed in giving people second chances. That's why a few months ago, she had stepped in when a group of bikers were being unfairly targeted. They were Hells Angels, feared by most, misunderstood by many, but Rachel had treated them with respect, earning their silent loyalty. On that cold night, Rachel parked behind the old gas station. The flickering lights cast long shadows across the cracked pavement. She was sipping her coffee when a loud bang startled her. She turned, hand on her weapon, only to find 3 rugged men blocking her path. "Look what we got here," one sneered. A cop all alone. Rachel stood tall, her hands steady. "Back up, you don't want to do this," but they didn't listen. One swung a metal pipe. She dodged and countered with a swift kick. Another grabbed her arm, slamming her into the wall. She fought back fiercely, landing hits that would have dropped most men. Still, they outnumbered her. Her radio crackled with static, "No signal out here." Pinned down, Rachel's breath quickened. She knew she couldn't hold out much longer. One thug ripped the badge from her chest and threw it into the dirt. "No badge can save you now," he growled, and then, in the distance, came the low, familiar rumble of motorcycles. The thugs froze. The sound grew louder, 5, maybe 6 engines. Rachel blinked through the pain, a faint smile tugging at her lip. She recognized that sound. The first bike skidded to a stop, headlights cutting through the dark. A massive figure stepped off. Vince "Grizzly" Cole, president of the local Hells Angels chapter. His presence alone sent chills down spines. Behind him, a line of bikers dismounted, engines still growling like beasts ready to strike. "What's going on here, officer?" Vince asked, his deep voice calm but deadly. The leader of the thugs laughed nervously. "Just mind your own business, old man," Vince smirked. "You just made it my business." In seconds, chaos erupted. The Angels moved fast, precise, like soldiers. One yanked the thug's pipe mid-swing. Another slammed a man into the wall. Rachel, regaining her balance, joined in, fighting side by side with the very men most cops feared. When it was over, the attackers lay on the ground, moaning and defeated. Vince crouched beside one of them. "You mess with one of us. You mess with all of us." Rachel's eyes met Vince's. "You didn't have to come," he shrugged. "You didn't have to help us back then either. But you did." It was a moment of mutual respect, 2 worlds, law and outlaw, colliding for justice. By dawn, police cars flooded the gas station. The attackers were cuffed and loaded into the back of cruisers. Rachel stood beside Vince, both silent as the sun broke through the clouds. Her captain approached, confused. "What happened here?" Rachel looked toward the empty road where the bikers' taillights faded into the distance. "Just backup arriving when I needed it most," the captain frowned. "Those were Hells Angels, weren't they?" Rachel didn't answer. She simply tucked her damaged badge into her pocket and smiled faintly. "Good men can wear leather too, sir." Later that day, she found a package on her desk, a biker patch, stitched with the words, "Brotherhood knows no uniform, no note, no name." Just the patch and a photo of her standing beside the Angels months ago. Rachel pinned it to her wall, knowing that justice sometimes came in unexpected forms. That night, as she drove her patrol route, she heard it again, the faint roar of engines somewhere in the distance. She smiled. They were out there, watching, protecting. If the story moved you, hit like. Share it with someone who believes in loyalty. And subscribe for more powerful stories where justice rides on 2 wheels.